Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. 106 years of Nigeria's amalgamation. What was the real essence of Lord Lugard's amalgamation of Nigeria? Is the British Empire of colonialism still in effect today? Or Flora Shaw, who proffered and gave the name Nigeria, still orchestrating the dimensions of the country? This is because while a section of the country is seeking for secession, others want restructuring and the principle of rotational presidency. Crises of terrorism and banditry in some part, industrial-based capacity and production diminished over 3 decades. Where and how did we get it wrong? Or better still, what must we do to absolutely stabilize a country that we have no other than Nigeria? What is the new trajectory for the amalgamation of Nigeria's unity in diversity? How do we quell the political leadership tensions in the country? Or was the amalgamation done in error? So welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. Stay tuned for a while and we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll begin the analysis with our guest in the studio. Spectacle. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am Daniel Atai. Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. Without wasting time, I have on Spectacle today, Television Nigerian, Comrade Dantata Salihu, our in-house resource person on this program. Comrade Dantata is the acting president of Arewa Youth for Peace and Security Initiative. He has authored a book on Nigeria's amalgamation already. So, Comrade, you are welcome to Spectacle.
Good morning, my erudite anchorman,
All right.
and Nigerians within and outside the country.
Okay. You have authored a book on amalgamation before, isn't it?
No, I dedicated a chapter
Okay.
to amalgamation that happened via Lord Lugard in 1914.
In 1914.
So the chapter is titled Domestic Perspective.
Domestic
Particularly
perspective.
domestic perspective.
All right. Viewers from any part of the world, you could join us live. It's a live program, and then you could make your contributions from using the numbers displayed on your screen. The WhatsApp line is also the +23481 3701 5949. That is the number you can use to reach us on WhatsApp. And of course, the Zoom handle is displayed on your screen, and anything from half an hour, the Zoom handle, the Zoom network will be open for you. We are expecting to connect to our friend in Ghana, talking about Reginald Nabwe, all the way from Ghana. We're expecting to hear from you via the WhatsApp or the Zoom. And you can give your civil contribution to the program. So, welcome once again. Now, without much ado about amalgamation, some quarters are agitating for secession, like we said. Other quarters are saying rotational presidency is what they want. And others are also seeking what we call restructuring of the country. And you can see the political tension everywhere with our nascent democracy. How do we actually set a new trajectory for the country to move forward? You know, without knowing the foundation, the destination might somehow be difficult to navigate. What is your take briefly before we go to the background reportage?
Well, when you look at the present setting, I would say a lot of leaders, especially the political leaders, have failed Nigerians. Because if you observe, we have in the National Assembly the upper and the lower chamber. The upper chamber has 109 senators from different senatorial districts representing different parts of this country.
At least three districts of a state.
Senatorial districts. Then also, you have House of Rep members, about 360. Then you have ministers, you have governors, you have other appointed advisors, director generals, executive secretary, and what have you. The issues have been the failure of the system gives rise to these continuous agitations. Because if developments have been there in terms of road network, healthcare delivery, education, in terms of schools, security, and host of other things, I don't think people would even have time to come and try to say, okay, we want to secede, we want restructuring, we want rotation. So failure of some of these dividends of democracy are giving room to this. And I want to assure you, even if any remedy is brought, either by National Assembly as a way of trying to advise for a constitutional conference, the Nigeria, I know, it will still not stop any agitation, because from independence in 1960, after the first republic, to this present time we are, it has always been so. And these things are given birth to as a result of lack of satisfaction and grievances of some certain people who have been shortchanged, coining under the guise of fighting for regional interests. Meanwhile, it is self-centered interest, because most of these people that are even at the forefront of some of these agitations in previous military administrations and previous civilian administrations, they held positions. Today, some of them are not longer in the system. They've been pushed aside. What do they have to do to gain the confidence of their people? Is by bringing something that will have popular slogan, which is restructuring, secession, and rotational presidency, and host of orders. Everyone we know democratically is entitled to his or her opinion and host of other things. But I want to tell you one thing, my erudite, that Nigerians, especially the electorates now, they are more enlightened, they are more exposed, as well as more experienced, because of what they did to them that we call one chance politicking, where during campaigns they promise heaven and heart, they promise milk as potable water, they promise Lexus as official commercial vehicles, they promise edifices in Ikoyi and Lekki as mass housing. At the end of the day, what they do is their bank account, their edifices, their state-of-the-art cars, and what have you. But the moment those oily things are not longer moving in the pipeline, they regroup again and still use the voice of the oppressed to call for certain things,
the voice of the masses.
That is it, which in reality we know are not to the interest of our country and its people.
And we will talk from the perspective of leadership and the trajectory, and also we will talk from the angle of the followers, which is the masses. But first, let's take a background report on the amalgamation of Nigeria and what goal do we set for the country's diversity, unity in diversity. Henceforth, have we have any plan or have we any trajectory to follow now after 106 years of the existence of the southern and the northern protectorate known as the amalgamation of Nigeria? Please enjoy it.
An amalgamation is a combination of two or more companies into a new entity. Amalgamation is distinct from a merger because neither company involved survives as a legal entity. Instead, a completely new entity is formed to house the combined assets and liabilities of both. The Northern and Southern Protectorates of Nigeria were amalgamated by British colonial governor Frederick Lugard on January 1st, 1914. What are the reasons for amalgamation? One of the main reasons of merger of amalgamation is the increase in the value of the entity as a result of the united front is greater than the sum of the independent values of the formers. But with regards to the concept of amalgamation, pre-1914 Nigeria, protectorate or colony, How were the separate entities faring before amalgamation? And now, the national question in Nigeria of today after a century, 106 years now, the socio-economic ramifications of amalgamation. There were 28% of persons that history revealed as those that signed the amalgamation document in 1914, out of which 6 were Nigerians and the 22 remaining were British. The Nigerians were 1. H.R.H. Meturade Sarkin Musulami and Sultan of Sokoto. 2. Usman Dan Maje, who later became Emir of Kano. 3. Sakitoyi Ajasa, a lawyer. 4. H.R.H. Oladugbolu Alafin of Oyo. 5. H.R.H. Hansel Obong of Calabar. 6. Abubakar Shehu of Borno. The location of the amalgamation was in Zungeru, Niger State. That was the capital of the British Protectorate of Northern Nigeria from 1902 until 1916. And the edict of the agreement was said to have 100 years period, which expires in 2014. It in the document that after 100 years, each party can re-evaluate and determine if they want to continue together or go their separate way. Therefore, on Spectacle today, let us x-ray this topic to find solutions to the lingering crisis of today's Nigeria, where the various regions have one crisis or the other. In the southeast, the issue of season by IPOP keeps brewing with insecurity. In the southern west, the issue of restructuring keeps coming up. In the northeast and northwest, the issue of Boko Haram and banditry have been on for over a decade. In the north central, the issue of herdsmen crisis has been on. In the oil-rich region of South-South, the issue of militancy, etc. What could be the best resolution for the stability of this country in the area of political, economical, social, ethno-tribal, and religion? Your take as a proper solutions would be showcased as recommendation for the unity of the country.
Spectacle on Television Nigerian. Well, welcome back. That has been a brief background documentary, just 3 minutes to serve your watching and listening pleasure. And we still have a national comrade in the studio who is vast in this topic and is our regular resource person here doing justice to it. And of course, the lines are already opened for you to contribute, and as well as our resource person in Ghana, Nabwe Reginald, we are expecting you to hook up with us to give us your take on the new trajectory for Nigeria. And please, while you call in via the WhatsApp line, do ensure to be civil and only profile solutions to the way forward for Nigeria, because criticism will do us no good. We have a lot of them already. And then my erudite comrade in the studio, if I may first of all ask, like getting to know the fundamental problem or fundamental essence of the amalgamation. Like I said, you have to know the foundation, then you know how the ADVs should be built or where you are headed. What was the essence of the amalgamation in 1914?
Well, by historical perspective of what we learn, I think as at that time, the leaders from the northern protectorate as well as the southern protectorates felt that they had certain things in common, that if they are amalgamated to become one, that they could share such beliefs and further develop the entire place in a hurry, or mindful of religious, ethnic, cultural, and other differences, which later cropped up after the amalgamation. I would say for anyone that knows what Nigeria is today, I think to me is not a mistake, because without this amalgamation that was done in 1914, there is no way a Hausa man could conveniently go to Calabar or go to Ogun State or go to Enugu and marry an Inkechi, or where an Idoma man from the north could, successfully as well go to maybe Oyo State or go to Bayelsa or even Delta to marry a Ishekiri or Ijo person. And again, if you look at how the present setup is, it enabled us the opportunity to be able to come as one, to be able to export even our expertise to even some of these countries. So I think, like they mentioned from the background, the likes of the late Sultan of Sokoto, as at that time in 1902 or so, to the time of amalgamation, and the Ladi Bolu, that is the then Alafi of Oyo, and the Shehu of Borno, Obong of Calabar, and others. So you can see, Itato, these were even leaders that, irrespective of religious and tribal background, were together, and they were even the one that were at Zungeru to sign the accord for this amalgamation. So you can see that it was of benefit, just like I read out to you. It was along the line that we got some derailment, but we'll come to it, because the question you put to me is what informed the amalgamation
in the first
instance. Yes, it's about peace, harmony, development, oneness, and patriotism, trade, as well as trade, which today you can see we are having, because today you see some of the produce from northern part of Nigeria, they have been taken to Lagos, which is southwestern Nigeria. Some produces from Enugu have been brought to Kano. Some produces from Kwara have been taken to Delta. Some produces from rivers have been taken to other parts of the country. Presently, we have 6 geopolitical zones, and there is no religious group, no ethnic group in all of these 6 geopolitical zones that will say that he or she is not benefiting from this amalgamation. If not, why do we pursue education in southern part of the country? Why do southerners come to the north to pursue education? And why do southeasterners go to other parts to also pursue education? And why do we take things like a bitter leaf from the eastern part of the country, cocoa yam, bring it to the north, then we take yam, we take tomatoes, we take onions, then you have other produce like yam flour from other part of the country. So above all, I think whatever anyone would say, the amalgamation paid off, and it was for a reason, for the fact that the late royal fathers and other elder statesmen who signed the amalgamation coming together in 1914 in Zungeru did it as a result of their foresight for trade and bilateral relations, building of religious ties, and host of others.
Now, okay, that's good. That is trade, religion, ethnic,
and cultural exchange,
yes, and let's say
even marriages,
tranquility. Yes. In the long run. Okay. But the effect of the British colonialism, do you see, the orchestration was done by 22 British citizens, and then only 6 Nigerians, and of course, representing the entire nation. Now, could you say that the effect of that amalgamation, the British intention, is still on in terms of economic colonialization today?
Well, if I might say, the idea of the British to give Nigeria independence in 1960 was premature.
Okay.
Because if you can vividly recall,
but it was Nigerians and the Pan-Africanists.
I will come to that. Before the independence in 1960, a certain part of the country where we come from, the north, were not as educated as the southern part of this country. and I think they had to delay the independence, I think, by 4 years, according to historical data and host of others.
Okay.
Even at that, some of the politicians like Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief S.L. Akintola, Chief Dennis Osadebe, the likes of Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sir Daunan Sokoto, Mai Borno, and host of others. I think even while they were in control of their regional authorities, I think the experience of having that unity of purpose, developmental driven course to form a national government was lacking. And that was what led to the failure of First Republic, that the first military coup had to occur in 1966, led by Major General Agui Ironsi of blessed memory. Right. So this inexperience, lack of tolerance and other things. So I think it would have even been better that the British delayed our independence like South Africa. Today, South Africa that got independence via the support of Nigeria. Look at the development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of security, in terms of educational emancipation, in terms of social development, gender promotion, and host of others. Nigeria is nowhere near them, even amidst the oil that we are given as natural resources, the tin in Jos, the coal in Enugu, the granite in the north, the cocoa in the southwest, and host of others. Even in terms of human capacity development, South Africa is ahead of us, because today many Nigerians are saying we got a one chance independence. Because when you take independence from your colonialists, and whatever decision you take, you still rely on them, then what have you done? It amounts to neocolonialism. Tell me, from independence in 1960 till date, what technological decision, what scientific decision, what security decision we take that we don't consult the British, even to an extension.
So ironically, we are still dependent.
We are dependent, 50% dependent.
50%.
Absolutely, because if a country cannot produce its own automobile, if a country cannot man its own intelligence gadgets, if a country cannot successfully produce medically related equipments, if a country cannot on its own bring a free and fair curricula for its universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, that you have to borrow suit via some visiting professors, even though they are indigenous professors, that also is neocolonialism. Even certain decisions that has to do with transmission of power, for example, if it has to be from maybe the north to the south, south to the southeast, south, and what have you, that you have to consult with hierarchy of Commonwealth, hierarchy of United Nations, hierarchy of what do you call it, European Union, and host of other things, and even some areas that aids have to come, even when you are insurgent driven. Look at the fight against insurgency in the northeast today. Most of the aid workers there, we don't even have 70% of Nigerians. Most of them are foreigners. So all we are in today, whether we like it or not, is still neo-colonialism. Today, most of our expatriates are the ones that make manufacturing to be going undiluted, uninterrupted, and undeclined in Nigeria. Today, take the percentage of expatriates from our construction industries, from our communication industries, our oil companies in the south, and what have you. You will have exploration granted. And I'm saying this vividly, without any fear of anybody. From the oil industry, you can get example. From the communication industry, you can get example. Then that is neocolonialism. Even the defense authorities.
The fact that we couldn't even produce
of recent, shameful, of recent, after 40-something years or 50-something years of existence, defense industries corporations, it is of recent they went to resuscitate it in Kaduna, that is supposed to be producing lighter arms, some kits and what have you for the defense authorities.
And under Buratai that they started manufacturing armor tanks.
That is it.
And deacons.
So you can see what has happened in the past tenures of the other ones.
Well, 50,
it all extends to neocolonialism. That even some of the armor tanks are everything. So all this we are giving background for people to know. A country that is not independent technologically is still surviving under its colonial powers.
Okay, I don't know, Mr. Harrison, if you are calling, you call to contribute, you can do that now. And Reginald from Ghana, we are expecting you to connect with us now so that we can have your take on the new trajectory for Nigeria. We are discussing the amalgamation of the nation. Was it done in error or loopsidedly, or what is the essence? And how do we move forward the country? Set the agenda for the federal government of Nigeria from Spectacle on Television Nigerian. We're waiting for your take now. And let's take a few comments from our Facebook messages. And this one says, good afternoon from Chris Paul. It means no Igbo man signs to be part of Nigeria. Also, it is meant to last for 100 years lifespan and will be reviewed to decide the way forward. He still said marriage, trading, and educational needs are not strong point for togetherness. Marriage is by choice, and the same is trading. So what do you have to say about it? Anyway, before I come to that, let me finish up. He said, I subscribe for a peaceful dissolution since it expires after 100 years. That agreement, the document. And John Paul said, peaceful dissolution is the best way. So talking about dissolving the agreement made 100 years ago by the 28 persons, 22 Britons and then 6 Nigerians. What answer could you give to John Paul, Chris Paul?
Well, what I would tell Chris Paul is that Obong of Calabar represented the South, I believe, because then if you are talking, there was no difference between all the people living in the southern part of
it was just north and south.
So for the Obong of Calabar to be there, so I think in hierarchy he was eminently qualified as at that time. Right. Then above all, you cannot overrule or do away with educational, marital, and other ties. Why is it today that somebody from Enugu, somebody from Kano, somebody from Akure goes to United States of America by marriage? He later naturalizes and becomes citizen of America. I enjoy all the facilities in the soil of America. Same thing extends to people that are in Britain. So if we are saying that domestically that cannot stand, then why does it stand internationally? World over, there are certain things that binds us together. And as Chris is saying, I think his brothers who are trading today in Sabon Gari Market in Kano will not like this amalgamation to be dissolved, because at the time you dissolve it, automatically they have to leave Kano and go back to Enugu, where for years they've not been. Then again, no, let me come to the point. Yes. Or again, you dissolve the marriage, and Aminu that is selling cattle in Bega Market in Lagos will not like to go back to Zungero in Niger State,
and that will automatically become a regional
when
government.
People talk, people should talk for the general interest of people
of the country.
Today, whether we like it or not, Northerners, Southwesterners, Southerners, and Southeasterners cannot do without each other. Okay. It is already a marriage of convenience. Okay. Because the Igbos that are trading in the north knows what they are gaining. The Hausas that are trading in the east, they know what they are gaining. The Yorubas that are today you go to River State, from Olu Obasanjo Street to Rumokoro, Rumodaulu, NTA, and others. The first person you see driving taxi in the heart of River State is a Yoruba man. Okay, you dissolve the marriage. Where do you want him to start from? These are the questions we need to put to ourselves. Or is it the Ishekiri man that is selling gogoro in my village? Because in my village, up till now, meters away, even though it's a Muslim-dominant town, and Ishekiri, a retired police officer, has been selling ogogoro there for more than 40 years. Okay. You dissolve the marriage. Where do you want him to start from? He doesn't know anything that has to do with Wari, since he enlisted and retired and came to do that trade. So I think when we want to present issues, we shouldn't be doing it on self-centered interests, on favoritism, on lack of patriotism.
No.
We have come to stay. The only thing we need to do now
we have come to stay.
we have come to stay.
Now we have 6
geopolitical
very
zones. Geopolitical zone. We have North Central, Northwest, North East, then Southwest, Southeast, and South.
North Central.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the geopolitical regions of the country, each is bigger than a country in Europe. Like, let's take for instance Great Britain. United Kingdom has about 8 countries within the United Kingdom, and these 8 countries, one region in the country, Nigeria, is bigger than them. People who are asking for secession, if we must dissolve this agreement peacefully, would you subscribe to 6 geopolitical entities that could be called a nation, or we still remain one Nigeria and then continue this way?
You see, those agitating for secession, they have self-centered agenda. And with due respect to patriotic Nigerians,
yes,
to bona fide Nigerians, irrespective of tribe,
they are listening, and they could
this
call
is the time we need to unite
more than
to
ever,
fight these evil forces, to fight these detractors who are dollar enslaved comedians. They are under the sponsorship and tutelage of some foreign people that we know. Their interest is not improvement of healthcare delivery. Their interest is not improvement of educational system. There is not improvement of security or anything. Their interest is all the people at the forefront. They have their families in hearts of Washington D.C., London, Cologne, and other countries across the world. Therefore, we should ignore them. What we need to do now is for our so-called people that we entrust with political power to do the needful. If certain developmental issues are taken seriously, if we don't have problem with faulty education, faulty security, faulty healthcare delivery, faulty human rights, faulty communication system, power, and what have you, nobody will be bothered. Nobody will come and support these detractors. But as it is now, from 1999, when our democracy became stable, we got some one-chance governors. Some, I said some, I'm not saying as a whole. There is that possibility that some of them performed. We got one chance House of Rep members, one chance presidents, and one chance political leaders, even in local government, that did not do what ought to be done, that did not give us water.
That is charlatans on power.
Yes. What we need to do now is by sitting down, by deciding whether it is a carpenter that has the prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? With your secondary school certificate, you can become president. Shagari became president with grade 2. All that leadership entails and requires is skills, initiative, and ideas. People like Bill Gates, they are dropouts, but today, look at what they did to the world in area of communication. So what I want the Nigerian masses to do, because why I'm talking here, I'm not talking on anybody that has 10 million in his account. I'm talking for the masses, because they are always at the receiving.
Let's pick this call, whether the call is actually for. Hello.
Yes. Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you calling to give us your take on the program, or? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you are live to Spectacle Now on Television Nigeria, and we are discussing amalgamation of Nigeria, the trajectory.
I've been following the talk, the different conversations you've been having in the video. Why I basically agree with your guest for most of the things that he has said. But from what he has said, he has made it look like most of the things that we have come to enjoy or maybe experience in this country for Nigeria.
Please, before you go ahead, please, your name.
You have some people from one place to another to pass business, apartment, all of that.
Please, your name and where you are calling from first. Hello.
As Nigerians, we find ourselves in Ghana. There's getting married to Ghanaians. We have Nigerians getting married to Chinese. We have Nigerians getting married to Americans. These are things that can happen. They do not necessarily have to be Chinese or Ghanaians or Americans or English for them to marry from those places. We have businesses. Nigerians
We actually can't get you well.
This is things that we should be discussing about. I'm not trying to say that people wanting to pull out of Nigeria forces agenda simply because you haven't given a reason why they should remain in Nigeria.
Okay, can I ask you this question? Okay, he has gone off. He didn't even introduce himself. I am trying to get his name, and I think he said it's Incredible Blessmong. That is what the true caller showed. Anyway, we are still expecting more calls. Like the paramount issue you raised here as part solution, if they must stop distracting the federal government or the country for secession or splitting, is developmental issues.
That is it.
And the developmental issues, you're talking about social
infrastructure, educational,
social economic infrastructure. And to what extent could we say, yes, we are okay, and then we could do better as a nation in terms of developmental issues that you raised? Because right now, if you see the southeastern region, there is a problem, and they're actually discussing secession. We still have a call, please. Yeah, hello. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
Yes, my name is Peggy. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, John Peggy. Okay, you can give us your contribution.
Yeah. I really enjoy the program that you're doing on amalgamation.
Thank you very much.
I want to tell you that Lord Frederick Lugard, the governor of both the Northern and Southern Protectorate, as a colony of Nigeria. Nigeria became a country, a colony, in a signed document on the 1st of January 1914.
Yes, we know. We gave you the history already.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the amalgamation is a concept from Berlin Conference to share the whole nations of the world together.
Okay.
It was a conspiracy to take over regions and territories,
Okay.
not necessarily for the growth of those individual countries, but to make sure that they exploit from them.
All right.
Not until 40 years after, in 1960, when Nigeria became independent. But were we actually supposed to be independent, absolutely, or are we actually independent?
All right. Good.
So this is a concept that is a bit not very sincere in making sure that Nigeria stands out.
Mr. Peggy.
As a result of the conspiracy to share this to the world, to the British, to the Europe and other places.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Peggy.
Yes.
Moving from dwelling in the past, what could you say would be Nigeria's trajectory now after 106 years? And whose responsibility should that be?
Well, thank you very much for that very good question. Setting the trajectory moving forward.
Yes.
In the first place, we have tried military, we have also tried democracy, and the both of them are failing. What we need to do in this country is to make sure that the young cream of leaders who will take over leadership in this country will look at the past, which we must not forget, and take us further. And making sure that we move forward, we need to understand where we have gotten it wrong in the history, and also moving out of the conspiracy and making sure that Nigeria remains the nation state that is meant to be.
Good.
Which is the giant of Africa.
Thank you very much.
Leadership is the problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John Peggy. He talked about moving out of the conspiracy of Europe and America, the colonial powers that colonized us. And you indeed said the conspiracy effect, the essence of the amalgamation, not only in Nigeria and other parts of the countries, other parts of the African countries, were designed for exploitation, exploiting the African resources. Now, and the problem, we are still dependent on them economically, yes, and we have not been emancipated from social economic development. Now, he is saying young leaders are moving out of what? The exploitation theory. How do we do that? How do young leaders come to power in Africa, since mentorship seems to have been derailed?
You see, most of the times we don't reflect back historically. We talk about young leaders in Africa, not only in Nigeria. How old was Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings when he took over, even though it was a military government in Ghana? How old was later Thomas Sankara?
We're talking about now.
No, we have to take it from historical perspective, because you cannot address the present without the past.
Okay, go
That
ahead.
is what we need to know, because there are people that were born in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, till date. So we need to let them get educated historically. How old was Gawan when he took over as military head of state? What about Murtala? What about Obasanjo succeeding Murtala? What about Shagari was old enough? What about Buhari himself as military head of state? What about Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida? What about others? What about yesterday's Jonathan, predecessor to Buhari, as well as late Yaradua? The issue is not all about generation of who the leader is. Whether you like it or not, if we're in the American democracy, not only the young people play it, it is a mixture. That was why you had the likes of McCain in the Senate for years.
Okay.
So you see, if in Africa we now say, okay, all the old blocks retire, then we are going to have it wrong.
Okay.
Because in parastatus, in ministries, in states, Yaya Bello in Kogi State, how old is he? Go and periscope the performance evaluation. So if you want to talk about...
But the percentage of young people,
you see, we
seeking political leadership...
I will tell you vividly that now, let's even restrict it to Nigeria. We need the contribution of the two, both the experienced and the younger ones. Because you cannot say because you attended Oxford or Harvard that overnight you are elected president. Then you how do you know about the armed forces? How do you know about the petroleum sector? Agree that you have advisors, you have ministers. That is where this rubber stamp president issue comes in.
Okay.
You come as a young man, lacking. There are three cardinal E's I take into cognizance and consideration: education, exposure, and experience. If you are educated without exposure, is zero. If you are exposed without experience, is zero. So these three E's has to come: education, exposure, and experience. A lot of young technocrats are educated, but experience and exposure is lacking.
Here's the question for you while you still go ahead. Incredible, the guy that just called said, please, I should ask you what do you mean that without Nigeria, an Ishekiri man wouldn't have been able to go to the north and school or set up business or even marry? Judging from that answer you gave, people who live Kano or people who live beggar in Lagos too. Say, does it mean that without Nigeria, we wouldn't have had infrastructures? What exactly are we benefiting as Nigerians that we wouldn't be able to enjoy if the nations that made up Nigeria were to be independent?
Let him ask his governors, his senators, House of Rep members, State Assembly members, chairmen, and his kinsmen and tribesmen that are employed in Deposit Insurance Company, Petroleum Equalization Fund, NNPC, Central Bank of Nigeria, Security Printing and Minting, Nigerian Police Force, regular combatant officers of Nigerian Army, Air Force, Navy, and other people who come from those areas and are also making valuable contribution. Today, like I'm telling him, it is only when it has not touched you, you say, let there be war. if it is when you are not. But for us to be fair, we are enjoying what is Nigeria today. Okay. If you are not enjoying what is Nigeria today, ask a Somalian, ask an Afghanistan, ask a South Sudanese. Okay. So whether my patriots like him like it or not, we are enjoying Nigeria, because to the best of my knowledge, from federal allocation, is state where it comes from, they get allocation. Yes. His member that is represented in the lower chamber, he gets whatever the man from Kano or Sokoto or Lagos or Rivers gets. Okay. So if we are not yet there, let us not say it must be over, it must be over. Yeah. As far as we are concerned with even this threat to our security, we are still enjoying as Nigeria, because even the freedom today, you cannot park just anyhow in the heart of London. You pay.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no country that is as sweet as Nigeria. Our akpu is very sweet. Our tuwon shinkapa is very sweet. Our amala is very sweet. In fact, I love Sherry, I love Nkechi, and I love Ramatu. So I don't want my friends from Igbo land to go when we. It's not even going to happen.
You saw what happened yesterday.
I am a patriotic Nigerian.
By the IPOP.
This morning, forget about IPOP and MASOP. See, I was referring to IPOP and MASOP as dollar enslaved comedians. Okay. Nnamdi Kanu, most of his outings, he did it in London. So you see, if somebody from Ihiri in Anambra State or Ninth Mile in Enugu that is selling abacha that is not going with 1,000, or a woman that come from Ilaro that is selling amala, or Mana Amino that is selling pineapple by the roadside that is not getting 2,000, come to say this is how we believe. But most of these people agitating for secession, let me tell you, they have dollars that some Western powers are giving them. And what is the point of interest? Let Nigerians know. It is this oil blessing that God has given us in the Niger Delta. Nigeria has petrol. Nigeria has gold. We have tin. We have cocoa. We have everything. Some countries across the world, Western world, are jealous of us.
I learned that in Taraba State and Nasarawa State, we have 19 out of the 23 world non-mineral resources.
Even in Bauchi, there is petroleum that is
on tap.
I'm not
talking about oil. I'm talking about other solid minerals.
Even in FCT here, let me give you, even FCT, Federal Capital Territory, there is a town called Dobi in Gwagwalada Area Council. It's about 10 minutes drive from Gwagwalada. There is a place there on top of the hill where illegal mining is going on. There is gold there in Federal Capital Territory here. Let the minister and the
solid mineral,
minister of solid mineral and that of FCT take note. Okay. Illegal mining. So when we are talking secession, somebody flies Lufthansa, KLM airline, somebody fly Delta Airlines, first class. He enjoy 5-star hotels abroad. My great grandfather doesn't know what is called border area. Talk more of any Oyibo country. Then you are talking about, you are coming here telling us parliamentarian English of secession. Nigeria will not secede. Together we shall remain. United we stand, divided we fall. And that is why I mentioned these parastatals.
Now, good. You have said it. So, moving out of the quagmire, you stated about somebody profiled young leaders mentorship, that is John Peggy.
Yes.
And we also talked about you talked about developmental issues for social, economic, infrastructural,
absolutely.
As part solution. How, or apart from that, any legislative issue towards this trajectory we are trying to set for the FG? This is 106 years now, and we can see the problem here and there, and we are trying to look for solutions, and that is why you're here, sir. And I'm trying to get any legislation to be done for this new trajectory of this amalgamation.
Well, you see, if you look at the current state of insecurity, the National Assembly, both the Senate and House of Reps, they are overwhelmed with taxing agendas. So, and these agendas of saying, going back to the agreement we've had and what have you, they will bring us back. Okay. What we are looking for now is progression, not retrogression.
Yes.
So for any senator or House of Rep member that will move any motion to say this, it will derail us back. Because the issues are, there is hypocrisy in governance, and I will expose it today.
Okay.
Our 36 state governors, irrespective of state, have you not been getting your monthly statutory allocation? What have you used it for? Your security votes, what have you used it for? The only thing
incidentally,
let me expose
the
it more.
President has not denied any state their allocation.
The bailout funds and what have you, what they do, you buy customized bulletproof official vehicles, 50 convoys, even the money for the fueling is a problem. It's enough to do feeder roads. If the money for chartering of your jets and what have you. So what we should do now, let all our governors, senators, and even the president do a kind of approach to developmental issues, infrastructure and security
across the 770.
Paramount among them is even security. Because if there is no insecurity, there can be Amotekun, there can be Shegeka Fasa, there can be the southeastern security, what have you. So let the issue of insecurity be addressed. Let the issue of bad roads, bad hospitals, bad schools, as well as power. If these things are done, it will bring our attention back.
We won't be able to take any more call. This is where we are ending up. Sorry, I could see one Ike Paul calling all the way. We don't know whether your contribution will be civil. If you are not civil, we'll yank you off. This is the last take on the show as you are calling in. Okay, I think the call is already gone. Anyway, this is where Spectacle will stop today on Television Nigerian. Don't forget to join us through our social media platforms. We are still taking your comment. Be civil as you profile solutions to the topic on discussion. Ike won't be able to take your call anymore. And please, Spectacle is open for sponsorship. We can take you to beat the word of the media for you, your antecedents, your preposition, your political profile, and whatever you want us to do. I have been Daniel Atai. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.